wonderful hadiths.
Hadith number 1. Avoiding the forbidden. إن الله يغار وغيرة الله أن يأتي المؤمن ما حرم الله. Allah becomes jealous of his honor, and that is when the believer does something he has forbidden. Explanation. Allah placed limitations and laws within which we must live our lives, and then He sent His prophets and messengers to convey those restrictions to the people. In this way, the evidence is established against the sinners because the messengers and prophets fulfilled their duty of informing us of the permissible and prohibited. In this hadith, the Prophet warns the believers from occupying themselves in forbidden matters. The Prophet worded it in a way so that a true believer would not even think about doing something forbidden. The believers are specifically pointed out because they should know better. The disbelievers might be engaging in forbidden things out of ignorance, but a believer has no excuse, therefore. There is a stern warning in this hadith to the believers from committing prohibited deeds. The hadith also mentions one of the attributes of Allah. Whenever we come across one of His attributes in the Quran or hadiths, it should never be compared to His creation. Allah is nothing like His creation. He is far above and beyond His creation. As Muslims, we affirm and believe in all His attributes mentioned in the Quran and hadiths without modality, resemblance, and denial. Hadith number 2. Virtue of Ramadan. من قام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. Whoever stands in Ramadan out of faith and hope for reward will be forgiven his past sins. Explanation. In this hadith, the Prophet is encouraging us to offer prayers during the nights of Ramadan, commonly known as the Taraweeh prayers, and the great reward waiting for those who choose to do so. Ramadan is a month full of blessings in which the doors of paradise are opened and the gates of hell are closed. One of the great blessings of this month is the opportunity to pray Taraweeh, which are offered between the Isha and Witr prayers. The Prophet mentioned two things as conditions to obtain the reward attached to offering these prayers. The person must have faith, meaning the person is a Muslim who believes in all of Islam's tenets. Hope for reward, meaning the person is hoping for reward from Allah for performing the Taraweeh prayers. The person is not doing it to be seen or rewarded by the people, rather she is sincerely doing it for only Allah's pleasure. Then the Prophet mentioned the result of those who fulfill the previous two conditions, that all of their previous sins will be forgiven. It should be noted that this is in reference to only those types of sins which violate the rights of Allah and not other individuals. If the sins are of latter nature, then the person must seek forgiveness from Allah and right the wrongs committed against others by either compensating them for their lost rights or seeking their forgiveness. For example, if a person stole another's wealth, then she must return it back to its rightful owner unless the victim forgoes the right and chooses instead to forgive the perpetrator. The main lesson from this hadith is to take full advantage of the night prayers in Ramadan. Hadith number 3. Virtue of Umrah and Hajj. العمرة إلى العمرة كفارة لما بينهما والحج المبرور ليس له جزاء إلا الجنة. One Umrah to the next is an expiation for whatever happened between them, and the only reward for an accepted Hajj is paradise. Explanation. In this hadith, there is encouragement for us to perform Umrah multiple times in our lives. Allah made good deeds as a way to expiate us from our sins and to raise our ranks. One of the best ways to do this is through Umrah and Hajj. The former can be performed any time of the year and can be completed in one day, but the latter can only be done during the season of Hajj and takes multiple days to complete. The Prophet here is teaching us the blessing of doing Umrah and Hajj. For Umrah, we are taught that whoever performs it multiple times, then it will be an expiation of sins committed between them. This means the person will not be held responsible for them on the Day of Judgment. Hadith number 4. Yawning. التثاؤب من الشيطان. فإذا تثاءب أحدكم فليقضم ما استطاع. Yawning is from the devil, so whenever one of you yawns, then let him try to suppress it as much as possible. Explanation. Yawning is associated with laziness and laxity. People with such characteristics tend to avoid doing good deeds and fulfilling their obligations, which is exactly what the devil incites us to do. This is why the Prophet taught us to suppress our yawn as much as possible and to not let the devil have his way. A believer should be active and full of energy to do good deeds and fulfill his/her obligations. Hadith number 5. Taking care of the widow and poor. السعي على الأرملة والمسكين كالمجاهد في سبيل الله وأحسبه قال وكالقائم لا يفتر وكالصائم لا يفطر. The one who looks after a widow or poor person is like the one who strives in the cause of Allah, and I think he also said, he is like the one who continuously stands for prayer without slacking and fasts without breaking. Explanation. This hadith teaches us about the great reward for those who look after and take care of the widows and the poor by fulfilling their needs and being good to them. Such an individual takes responsibility for their interests, supplies, and whatever else they need. The widow in the hadith is in reference to a woman whose husband has died, which has led her to poverty and loss in provisions. The poor in the hadith is in reference to a person who does not have enough wealth to fulfill his/her needs. The Prophet likened the reward of someone who takes care of such people to that of a soldier fighting for the cause of Allah, a person standing at night in prayer remembering Allah and supplicating, or like the one who continuously fasts. Those who desire to do such things but cannot should strive to implement this hadith by taking care of the widows and the poor in hopes of being resurrected on the Day of Judgment with those who actually did such deeds and share in the same reward. So, dear listeners, make up your mind from today that you will try to follow these hadiths and stay with us for just 8 to 10 minutes daily to learn about your religion, and subscribe to this channel to learn more about Islam and get rewarded by sharing this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.